Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Broadway Podcast. Want to know what's going on downtown Nashville? Well, ride with us as we take you on a trip down Broadway.
This is the life we choose, life we choose. And honestly, I wouldn't want it any other way. I've been doing just fine, alright now. This is the life we choose. This is the life we choose.
Well, Jack, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, David.
I'm so
be
happy to
here.
have you here, man. So first of all, before we get started, the podcast was kind of created to like give people the opportunity to like share their stories when it comes to like Nashville and like if it pertains to music or like where we work, stuff like that. It kind of gave grace to have conversations about like the crazy stories and the fun times we have in Nashville. It's kind of stemmed into also like an industry kind of thing too. Because I was telling my last guest, I was like, my life has been industry. Like everything I know is evolved around the service industry, and now that music has been correlated to that as well, it's a good opportunity for people to be able to come on the show and kind of like share their life experiences, whether it's entertainment, music, etc. So for you, are you new in Nashville? Are you a Nashville native? Are you new in Nashville? Like,
I did not grow up here. I moved here about coming up on 3 years now, and June 1st will be 3 years.
damn, time flies.
Yeah, it really does. I moved from Tulsa, Oklahoma. I was there for about 3 months, and then got an opportunity sprung on me. I was given like 2 days notice. I was given an opportunity to go on tour with a country artist, and
Name? Is it a name that you can say or?
He's a up and coming guy. His name's Cooper Allen.
Okay.
So he's big. He got big on TikTok during COVID and stuff, and I was basically offered the opportunity to fill in for his tour manager, but I needed to be there in 2 days. So
Oh wow.
I kind of decided the day I got the opportunity, I decided, all right, I'm gonna do this. And the next day, I packed up everything and then drove. I actually spent my birthday driving like 10 or so hours to Nashville. Didn't have a place to live, and just lived my first couple nights there in a hotel.
Fuck it. That's what I mean. I mean, when you do things like that, you have to kind of sort of like. I think the best opportunities are presented to you in that shape and form, fashion.
Yeah.
Like you got to go now because like, what is life if you don't take a little bit of risk? You know? Are you guys still? Are you close with that guy still?
Yeah, I don't work with him right now, but it was really there was no like bad ending to it. I just was like given an opportunity to work for someone full time, and so I took that, and I'm sure he's happy for me, and we keep in touch and see each other every now and then.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's kind of almost you're almost like a mystery because like we both work together, but like you'll be at work 1 week and then the next like 2 months you're gone.
Yeah.
And like for a moment, like I because there's so many moving parts, I just don't really notice. And then we kind of got in closer and we started having conversations. It's like, oh, I do this for this. I'm like, okay, cool. And it's almost like, what do you do when you're not around? Because it's like you'll be gone for forever. So you manage artists, like what do you do when it comes to like?
I've done like a couple different roles. When I first started working with Cooper Allen, I was filling in as a tour manager. His tour manager was working with a few artists. They had some shows on the same days, different parts of the country, so he needed my help. So
As far as what, engineering or?
tour managing. So
Okay.
at the beginning, it was pretty basic, like what I had to do. I was kind of just there to be like on call, maybe do some driving, count the merch and stuff like that. And his tour manager was doing like booking the hotels and the travel and everything behind the scenes. And he was kind of like setting me up for success. And I just was there day of in case of any emergencies or whatnot. And then slowly I started to do a little more and started like booking the hotels myself, doing just a little bit more. And then I did one weekend with another one of his artists. Her name's Alexandra Kay, who I work with right now, and did one weekend with her, 2 shows. One was in Wisconsin and one was in Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
And it went pretty well. What came back to Nashville, I was going on a trip to see some college friends in Ocean City, and she was on my flight, and I ran into her.
Oh, wow.
And it was kind of just seemed like fate, and she needed some help more full time as a tour manager. So we ended up kind of being a perfect match and just working together. And then since then, I've done some different roles, like merch managing, and then kind of like a utility guy most recently, like merch, helping with our videographer, helping with our lighting director, just doing kind of whatever I can to help out.
That's awesome.
Make the team successful, yeah.
The one thing that stuck out to me the most is merch management. I didn't know you had that kind of like thing in your repertoire, because I'm slowly getting to the merch stuff myself. I have a couple hats that I do. We've branded the hats and stuff like that too. So like I'm kind of interested when we get off set, like what's your rate? Because I'm kind of curious. But did you have any prior experience beforehand? Like did you go to school for this? You're just kind of like
no direct experience. I went to college for sport and entertainment management. Graduated from the University of South Carolina with a degree there, and I've worked a lot in sport, a little bit in music, and nothing like really tied directly to what I'm doing now, but kind of little things that I picked up doing everywhere to help me be successful in this role that I'm at now. But yeah, no real prior experience before this.
That's crazy. You just like kind of lucked out on this?
Yeah, just kind of stumbled into it, really.
Can I stumble into a millionaire real quick, please? Like I need that luck. I know I should rub your shirt or something.
No, it took a while. I was patient.
Yeah. Oh, you seem like a very calm and collect person too. Yeah. And I think that's the most important when you have people that work for you. Like I feel like you need somebody who's like level headed.
Yeah.
Have you had any like hiccups like starting off? Like, cause like some of these people you work with like have gotten bigger in your face. Like as you work with them, they've gotten bigger. Do you manage yourself as well? Like do you brand yourself when it comes to like management?
No, not really. I'm kind of I'm pretty like, I feel like I'm a pretty humble guy. I don't like to like brag too much on myself. And there has been some hiccups, like as some of the artists that I work with have grown, some have kind of grown a little faster than I wasn't necessarily able to keep up exactly, but because I'm just like, it's one of the most important things, like being on tour, is just being able to like be a good hang, like because in our instance right now, we have 12 people on a tour bus, and we're sleeping, showering, eating, doing everything on there. It's a tight space, so you have to just be cool, not be like too high strung. And so I think I was successful in that aspect of things. And so instead of, when I wasn't able to keep up with their growth, instead of kind of just leaving me behind, they asked if I wanted to move into a different role and kind of learn something new. And I think that is going to help me out in the long run, because I just have a better idea of the whole
the overall production
versus like being more like directed,
like one track minded or like that. I feel like going on tour could be a little frustrating, because like you have to keep up with what's all happening at one time. And have you ever had like, I feel like for me, if I was on tour, I would probably get fired. Because like, I mean, because you go on some like nice trips, you go to like nice places. I feel like when you're working on tour, like you don't really get to experience the city or the countries you're in like as much as you want to. But like, how is it? Have you guys like, give me an example. Like, do you have like any like stories? Because like going on tour right now with like, what you say, Alexandra Kay? Is there a lot of party? Like, I mean, because I don't, she's country, right? So like, there's not a lot of partying. I feel like, or is there?
Our camp is like pretty diverse, and we have a lot of people from like the rock world and like the metal world and things like, and then we also have people from country and stuff like that. So we have a little bit of a taste of everything, like within our crew. We do our partying, but it's also like we all take our job very seriously, and there's a point to where the partying can start to like take a toll on your like ability to do your job. And you know, that's kind of where I feel like everyone in our camp has a good balance, and
that's pretty cool.
We know where to draw the line,
especially if like you're a growing artist. Like,
exactly.
That starts off from like midway to like almost star status to like celebrity, which is crazy. Like I can only imagine like imagine if you were working with Morgan like before he became like big, and you were like on his management tour, and then you just start to like that, because that was a rapid change, right? Like say you're like Jack with Morgan, and then literally like 2 years later he's like a superstar selling out concerts like arenas. That would be insane. What do you think that's the trajectory she's going on right now?
I think so. I hope so. I mean, I'll say our first tour, I'd done some shows with her, like I mentioned, but our first tour that I went on with her, it was like a 3-week run. We probably did like 15 or so shows in 3 weeks, and at the beginning of the tour, her goal was to do like 100 to 200 people in each city, and by the end of that tour, we had kind of had to like bump that goal up to like 300, 400.
Oh wow, she was getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, and now, I mean, some of her like bigger shows are up over 1,000. So
that's great.
It's been pretty cool to see that growth in a pretty short period of time. Like you were saying about Morgan Wallen, like to the public, it probably felt like it was overnight. But I don't know like his story, but I'm sure it was. Didn't feel that way to him.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I would just, cause it's kind of intriguing too to me, because like even for this podcast, like I feel like touring, not for my podcast, but I feel like touring, like when you go on tour, like it's important, it's crucial to like the success of like an artist, because
it's
like,
where they make a lot of their money.
Yeah, how does that go about? Like how do they do the whole like bookings and stuff like that? Because like I have a friend that also, I don't know if you know him or not, but he used to work close to us downtown. And he got big. His name's Elijah. He used to work next door to us, and he got big quick. Well, I wouldn't say quick, but he's been working on his music for a while. But like the success came, but he's been on tour for forever. How does that go? Like, do you hire like a management staff that like does your touring bookings, and like how do you guys do it?
I think you can. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I know everything, because I definitely don't. But from my experience and perspective, the booker, the person who books the shows, is somebody different. That's like a booking agent. So they'll like route, so like in a smart way, we're going to play here, have a day off, then go here. That's a booking agent. That's pretty much their entire job, is to do that. Like kind of negotiate contracts and what the artist is getting paid. So I don't really have anything to do with that. As a tour manager, as soon as the show was booked, then I could start working on like booking a hotel or renting a van for the first show to the last show, or if there's any flights in between shows, because we wouldn't be able to make it in time in a van, then that's when you could start looking at that and that stuff. Start communicating with the venues and start planning like the day schedule because each venue has different rules. Certain venues in certain cities have like noise ordinances where you can't start making noise until a certain time,
after 10 or
or after a certain time. So there's like a window of time where you can have sound check in the show and everything like that. So
I've noticed that, because like so last year we went to what's it called in Alabama? What's it called on the beach? I keep forgetting. I always forget. Now it's something different, because like all the big artists are going down there this year. But we went last year. It's in Gulf Shores, Alabama, and Hangout Fest. And I noticed that like it's a hard cutoff. So like everybody was like making fun of this one artist who always goes down there, but she's always late to everything. And I'm not gonna name her, but like she was there. She's kind of big too, and she would come on like hours later than she's supposed to, but she was the ending act for the last day, and they cut off her show immediately, like between like she wasn't even halfway done.
Especially
but like that
festivals.
ordinance was out there. They had like an ordinance, it had to be done, and that's crazy. I feel like it takes a lot of energy and a lot of effort to like get a whole production team together. Expensive too, probably.
Definitely. Like Alexandra, she just opened for Jelly Roll on his arena tour during the months of September and October. We did 38 shows.
He was with Jelly Roll too?
Yeah, and
that's pretty cool.
I think he hired over 100 people like on staff that traveled with us.
And that's probably for people like that size. That's probably like not a lot for real.
Yeah, I mean, I could only imagine like how many people Taylor Swift or somebody
that's like
employs.
whole squads of people. Like that's crazy. That's fun though. And like you sound so like cool and chill about it.
Yeah.
But like, and that's what it takes, I guess. But like Jelly Roll is a big deal now. Like he's good.
For
Like
sure.
he has a bar coming up soon at on Broadway.
Yeah.
He, for the most part, all the people that's met him and like interact with him say he's a phenomenal guy. Like you can see him on TV.
Yeah, he's exactly what you would expect.
Exactly. And like he's much needed for sure.
Yeah.
And just be able to like work hand in hand with people like that is such an honor.
Oh, it's super cool.
I would take advantage of. Are you taking advantage of it in any ways?
I mean, I've made some good connections with people. I mean, he only keeps good people around.
Yeah.
So yeah, we made some good friendships, some good connections.
You passed the vibe check?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it does take that because like you see so many instances where like these artists will have like all these people who like just want to have fame too.
Mm-hmm.
So like nobody's really focused on you and your brand, and just having people are just like. So I feel like if I was in your position, I would not be as humble. It's like I mean, for me, like I have a podcast, so like I have another venture, so I couldn't work for somebody that has a brand when I'm working on the brand.
Yep.
So like if you would need some kind of like.
For sure. And I'm happy being behind the scenes. Like I was kind of telling you before we started recording, I think like I like to be behind the scenes, don't necessarily like to be center of attention. So
people suck though.
So I'm happy. I'm just happy being in the support role.
Hell yeah. So you got to, I remember last year or like a little while ago, you got to go to what, Europe?
Yeah, with Alexandra, I've been to pretty much all over Canada. Went to London and Manchester and few cities in Australia.
Oh, wow. Okay,
Yeah.
Australia's my bucket list.
Mm-hmm.
So I knocked out a couple of places on my bucket list. I went to Europe. So we went to Czech Republic, which I never once thought about going there, but me and Logan went. And it was phenomenal.
I've heard
Great city. Prague is a great city. We went to Palma, Spain, and Barcelona, Spain. That was my dream city to go to, so I knocked that out.
Okay.
Australia is I want to go to Melbourne so bad in Australia, and I also want to go to London. So those are my two cities that I have to knock out before I kick the bucket. Do you have a favorite country? Oh, country, sorry. Do you have a favorite country that you've visited?
I mean, my work didn't even take me there, but Costa Rica was probably my favorite.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess because the weather and stuff too.
Yeah. I'm like like if I'm going on vacation or on a trip.
Yeah.
I like tropical
warm weather, beach.
Bahama type like vacation rather than like a Europe thing.
Although it's cold in Europe.
I was surprisingly impressed with London and Manchester when I went. I didn't think I was gonna like it, and I liked it a lot.
I've heard some good things about it, but everybody that goes there always says it reminds them of New York.
Yeah.
And me, I'm in New York all the time, so I'm like, sign me up, baby. I want to go to New York so bad. I mean, I want to go to UK so bad because of that. The food though, I don't know. I'm kind of
the food was it wasn't the best, but the beer was good.
They're big beer drinkers over there, man.
Yeah.
And like we work at downtown, and like you know how people you don't bartend, but like we have this thing where like we get these foreigners from like Europe and stuff that will come and they order their beer like I want one beer. They don't name the beer or anything. Yeah. And for the longest time, I'm like, what the fuck? Why can't I'll say, well, you want a Bud Light, you want a Coors, whatever. And just one beer, it doesn't matter. And I'll sometimes just to see how they react, I'll pick the one I think is the grossest and see their reaction. They just drink. They're like, oh, whatever. So like then I went to Europe for the first time. And I understood. I was like, they just have beer on tap. You just say, I just want one beer. Just give me a beer.
Where you went, did they do the funky thing where they have like warm beer on tap?
I did not go to a place like that.
Okay.
I think that the other guys that went to London, because we met in the middle.
In London.
I think they had that in London. We went to Czech and went to Spain, and it was so much fun. The other guys we met from UK met us in Spain. And they were talking about the warm beer. They went to Germany too, the Oktoberfest thing, which I'm sure they had warm beer there too. Yeah. But I wonder how that is though.
I wasn't a huge fan, but some of my friends liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it taste just like hot beer or?
Yeah, it's like it's not hot, but it's like warm, but it's different than like just having like a warm beer.
I feel
from
like beer
America
has to be
here.
cold though.
Yeah.
The hot, I mean, that's just something different. No, thank you. I'm good on that.
Me too.
So right now are you off tour right now for
Yeah.
the moment?
Yep.
What's the next like big thing you got going on?
The artist I work for, she just announced a tour that's gonna start the last week of February and go, I think, until the first week of April.
Oh wow.
And then I think we'll be home
That's
for
2 months almost.
Yeah, it's like 6 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
And then we'll be back home for like a week or two maybe. And then I think there's like a big UK.
Yeah. Who
tour.
pays for this?
She does.
Damn.
Yeah. So
She's making that money though from the tours now. Huh?
Yeah, and it's really cool because she's an independent artist too. So I mean, that comes with some pros and some cons, but like, you don't get the support of like a big label financially or just like manpower, but you do like have to work a lot harder and do a lot more of the work yourself, like with a smaller team. And then when you see like it paying off, it's a lot more rewarding.
Is she trying to become an artist that's signed to a label, or she likes the independent thing?
I think like at the right time, like she's just waiting for the right time. She's like been signed to 2 record labels before. Neither really went the way she hoped.
That's what I was gonna say. I feel like record labels like to fuck you a lot. It's like you just need to like really digest.
So she's been doing it on her own for a while, and I think she's just waiting until she has like a proven product where she can bring to the label versus
them coming to her and like her shave off all your crew. You got this. Yeah.
Exactly.
I've never met her before, but I kind of like that. I like that about her because it's like I don't want to get rid of what I've worked for. Like if you could tell me I've done this for like all these years, touring with my family now, and a record label comes to her and say, "Well, we got the team, X-nay the team." It's like no, like we gotta we built this. So that's good, man. So you going to the UK again?
Yeah. Yep. Going there again, man. We're going to a lot of countries. I don't even know them all off the top of my head right now.
Have you met? So any crazy stories? Like, have you had like the ones that stick out the most? Like, is there a story that you can tell that's like this was fucking crazy?
I mean,
because it's tour life. Something has to pop off.
There's a few. Probably like one of the first for me was like the first time meeting Jelly Roll. We were at a festival in Iowa called Tailgating Tall Boys, and we were playing on the same day as Jelly, and we were in the catering tent, and I was sitting with Alexandra's parents. We were eating lunch, and then Jelly Roll just came over and sat like right across the table from us, like introduced himself and just like sat down and ate lunch with us.
He sits out like a sword. His tattoos all over the place, so you know who he is. He's not incognito at all. And I can only imagine him just like sitting across, like, "Hey, you guys, what's up? I'm Jelly Roll." Oh, does he say I'm Jelly Roll? Or does he give you his government name?
I think he introduced himself as Jelly Roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that weird though? I feel like if I had like a stage name, I wouldn't. If I saw people like in like a setting like that, I'm like, "Hey, I'm David." I wouldn't say, "Hey, I'm not." No knock to whatever. But it's like it's kind of weird to introduce yourself to like I am Jelly Roll.
Yeah.
You know.
I guess like it's probably just I would assume at one point he was introducing himself as Jason, and then people were like,
"That's his name."
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I mean, he said that.
But he's like, I mean, I doubt he was. Well, he might see this. He's like, "Don't you ever tell my fucking name."
Yeah,
I never thought. Well, you can Google it, so whatever.
Yeah, no, he says it. He says it at his shows. He's like, "My name's Jason Jelly Roll D Ford." So
I love those artists that make you fall in love with them when you don't know them initially. You're not like an initial fan, because like I've had artists that like I listen to now that I never did before, and especially with social media being so big and it's so accessible to us in our phones, and we have it in our hands at all times. Like he'll come up on like some of the pages I follow, how he'll like say these speeches at like the awards, and I stop and watch. Like sometimes you'll see like people doing that, and you just keep scrolling, and I see him as like, I want to see what does he got going on.
What's he do?
And like he's always like shouting out somebody or giving like such a motivational story.
Yeah.
And like I love artists like that.
Yeah.
There's some artists, big artists now that became big really quick, and you don't ever get to hear like those stories and like those like, yeah, I'm just like you. I was just like this, and like he's from Tennessee, right?
Yeah, he's from Antioch. He was born and raised in Antioch.
That's good. That's like down the street too.
Yeah. And I'll say I've got a few more stories, but one more I'll say about him because, like you said, like you know, you see him in the news and stuff like that, but like he's the exact same way, like
Yeah.
every day in real life. Like he invited us to play basketball with him and his team one day.
Was he good?
Like before the show. He's a pretty good passer.
Oh, hell yeah.
He is. He can pass and he can shoot too, but he's a good passer. He's a point guard, and he like we finished up. We were playing at some like just local rec center. I think we were in Pittsburgh, and they like lended us like the space for a few hours. And then at the end of we were playing, there was like empty water bottles all over the court, and like he went and picked up the whole play, like
That's
cleaned
crazy.
up the whole space. And he was just like, we got to appreciate, the people giving us this space, treat them with respect.
Man.
And
He's
all
gonna
that.
kill it
So,
downtown.
yeah.
Man. He is gonna. I know he's gonna be there a lot too.
Yeah.
Probably.
I think his cousin who was on tour, like giving tattoos like all the time.
Is that the guy that's gonna be there?
I think he's gonna
Oh, that's
have a
sick.
studio in the back.
Dude, that is so sick. He's marketing all the right ways. Cause like, yeah, he's tatted up, but like, I don't think that like, oh, he must have a relative that like does this.
Yeah.
And then to have him be at his bar
Mm-hmm.
doing that, like, that's fucking insane.
Yeah,
man.
and
He's doing
he
it
hooks
right.
it up for his homies too. Like
Yeah.
one of his friends, like he helped like set up a food truck
I
and
wanna meet
stuff
him.
that goes to all these festivals that he plays at and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's cool.
So do you think like meeting people like great artists like that, like who are good human beings, doesn't that like motivate you to like do better in
Yeah,
life?
for
Like
sure.
just like because
For
like
sure.
I was using the example for like I met Post Malone last year at Lainey Wilson's when he came down and like did his whole thing. I think they were like filming something on Broadway. Remember
Yeah.
they shut it down or whatever. And like he was popping around bars and like he popped into Lainey Wilson's. And dude, it was and of course everybody found out where he was gonna be at.
Yeah.
And he was so cool, man. Like he was just like I use him and Jilly at the same, like in the same kind of like balance, because like when you meet them in person, it's like the exact same person you meet in real life. If you are fortunate enough to meet them in real life, I would love to meet Jilly in real life. I bet he's a down to earth.
And they're
guy.
great friends now too, him and Post Malone.
Yeah.
And Post Malone came to the show in LA and the one in Nashville just a couple weeks ago.
You're kind of lucky, like just to hear these stories, like because like you can name these cities and
Yeah.
like you get to experience this, like a lot of things that for like what
Yeah, 27.
27-year-old,
Yep.
you're experiencing the life that was hard to obtain for
Yeah.
one point in time. Like
For sure.
that's crazy.
Yeah. And I still have like higher goals, but I'm still like really happy and proud of what I've done so far.
Yeah. Do you have any time, like when you go on these major tours, do you have any time for like yourself? Like, do you get to like meet or like date people or like kind of like, I don't know. Cause like I feel like if I'm going out of town and like I'm always out the country or any city that I want to go see, like I kind of want to go like venture off and like, do you have time for that?
Yeah, there's certain times for that. Like it's not every city that you're in. For example, I'll tell you an embarrassing story.
Oh, please do. I love embarrassing stories.
When we had a show in El Paso
Texas, right?
in September, and then we finished the show and headed to San Antonio for an off day, and then we had a show in San Antonio the next day. And so we woke up in San Antonio probably like around noon, and then it's like between the 12 of us, like having everybody get ready and like stuff to get going for the day is a lot. So we didn't really leave the bus until like 3:30 or 4, and had our first meal of the day at some nice Mexican spot in San Antonio on the Riverwalk. It was cool. But then we just start bar hopping, and I get a little banged up. And anybody who like has drank with me a lot or like knows me well is like I'm a sleepy drunk. I just like get tired. Like I don't really cause problems, but I just get.
You just fall asleep in the corner.
Yeah, it's like I'm definitely due to like fall asleep at the bar, and
that's crazy.
I like took a step out of a bar and I tried to go back in with like all of our friends, and the bartender said I was stumbling a little too much, wouldn't let me back in. And then like I must have pulled out my phone and my phone was dead. So I was like outside the bar by myself, didn't know, really where I was or how to get back to the bus or home. And so I just started like looking for landmarks, just started walking around.
How far was the bus?
I don't really know, but
oh, y'all was bar hopping. That's right.
Yeah. And I end up getting lost, and my friends like realize that I'm not there. They start looking for me for like 45 minutes, and then
in El Paso, Texas.
They can't find me, or in San Antonio,
okay.
And they can't find me, so they start reaching out to, we're like also on tour with Warren Ziders and Jelly, and so they start texting their bands and saying like, hey, we're missing like a guy, like has anybody seen him, or we could maybe use some help
Miss
looking.
this person.
Yeah. And so like they start looking, like they get on scooters and start scootering around the city, and they're asking homeless people, like showing them pictures. Have you seen
probably
this
look
guy?
like a homeless person.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, he went that way. He went that way.
Oh no!
And it's like 2 hours.
Why'd you walk for
me
45
missing.
minutes?
I stumbled upon Jelly Roll's band's bus.
Yeah.
They flagged me down, brought me on, charged my phone up, and then got in touch with our crew and
I'm sure he
got me
remembers
back.
that.
But it was, word spread fast, and it was like it was a funny story around like the next couple
That's
weeks
crazy.
or two.
Why'd you think that walking for 45 minutes was a good idea?
Dude.
Were y'all in the city? Like city
Yeah.
area? Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah,
then.
and like my friends were all in the bar. I was outside the bar by myself.
Yeah.
Nobody
thought to come out and
no
be like,
way of
oh, he's kicked out?
contacting them. No way to contact them. So
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And you were too drunk to like be like, can I just use a charger?
yeah.
Was it cold?
No, hot Texas.
Oh, okay.
Texas.
I would just sit outside I don't know. Like, cause I've had some
I think
stories
I probably
where
did sit outside for a while,
Yeah.
but then like no one came out, and I'm like, well, what am I gonna do?
That's true. I mean, I can't make fun of you because I've had way worse experiences at bars. Trust me. But walking is not one of them. I would not walk 45 minutes, but I guess you had no choice. But yeah, man, like it's great to hear stories like this because you don't really know that this is happening on tours, like with artists and like that, until you get to hear it from like real time people.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's pretty cool and awesome. Which I wanted to bring you on because I was like, I think he's got some interesting stories to tell me.
Yeah.
I love to have you back when we have more time because like I want to kind of get into some details about like what you want to do with like your personal careers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I know you have some endeavors, especially with the experience that you've had working with these great people. But yeah, man, like I want you to come back to spread that a little bit more.
Love to.
But I wanted you to connect me on some merch stuff too. Because I think you'd be a good person to help me with that.
Yeah, I could talk to you a little bit about that.
But yeah, man, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
I would love to. Like I said, I want to have you back on so we can get some details about what's next in Jack's chapter.
For sure.
His love life, etc. Get some juicy gossip from you.
No, you're not getting that from me.
Thank you. This has been a pleasure, my friend.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
This is the life we choose. Life we choose. And honestly, I wouldn't want it any other way. I've been doing just fine.